Are you building a life or just collecting things? You pray for peace, but your home is full. Your schedule is full. Your heart is full of noise. What if the reason you feel distant from God is not weak faith, but too much attachment? This is book verse. Today, we uncover uncluttered faith. Own less, love more, and take back your purpose. Stay with me. This might change how you live forever. Chapter 1. The Hidden Cost of Consumerism. We live in a world that tells us to buy more. Every day, every hour, ads follow us. On our phones, on our screens, on the streets. They whisper one message. You need more. More clothes. More gadgets. More upgrades. More comfort. Modern culture runs on desire. It feeds on it. It grows because of it. You are not just a person anymore. You are a customer. Companies study your habits. They track your clicks. They learn your fears. They learn your dreams. Then they sell you a promise. This will make you happy. This will make you confident. This will make you successful. But desire never ends. It grows. You buy one thing. Soon you want another. You upgrade your phone. Next year it feels old. You buy new clothes. Soon they feel normal. This is not an accident. It is a system. Modern culture fuels constant desire. It trains your heart to want more. Not because you need more, but because wanting keeps the system alive. Desire becomes normal. Contentment feels strange. You start to measure life by what you own, not by who you are. And this is where the hidden cost begins. At first, buying feels good. There is excitement. There is a rush. You feel in control. You feel rewarded. But that feeling fades. It always fades. The item stays. The joy leaves. So you search again. You scroll again. You shop again. Possessions promise happiness. But they cannot keep that promise. Why? Because things were never meant to fill the heart. A new car can bring comfort. It cannot bring peace. A big house can bring space. It cannot bring purpose. Nice clothes can change how you look. They cannot change who you are inside. Yet we keep believing the promise. If I just had this, then I would feel complete. This lie is quiet, but it is powerful. It shifts your focus. Slowly, softly. Instead of seeking joy in faith, you seek joy in stuff. Instead of building character, you build collections. Instead of growing love, you grow storage. The danger is not the object itself. The danger is the attachment. When owning becomes central, faith becomes secondary. This is the spiritual danger of accumulation. Accumulation sounds harmless. It sounds smart. It sounds safe. Save more. Store more. Collect more. But the heart was not made to worship things. When you hold too tightly, you cannot open your hands. And faith requires open hands. Jesus warned about storing treasures on earth. Not because money is evil, but because the heart follows treasure. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. If your treasure is in things, your heart will stay with things. If your treasure is in God, your heart will rise higher. Consumerism competes with faith. It asks for attention. It demands time. Think about how much time you spend thinking about buying, comparing prices, reading reviews, watching product videos. Now think about how much time you spend in prayer, in reflection, in serving others. The competition is real. Consumerism says, focus on yourself. Faith says, focus on God and others. Consumerism says, protect what you own. Faith says, give freely. Consumerism says, you deserve more. Faith says, be grateful for what you have. These two messages cannot both lead your heart. When your life fills with possessions, your mind fills with worry. Will this break? Will this get stolen? Will this go out of style? More stuff means more stress, more maintenance, more cleaning, more organizing. You work harder to afford more. Then you work harder to manage more. Slowly, your schedule becomes full of payments, full of upgrades, full of repairs, but empty of stillness, empty of silence, empty of deep connection. The hidden cost of consumerism is not just money. It is distraction. It pulls your eyes away from eternal things. It keeps your hands busy. It keeps your mind noisy. And faith grows best in quiet soil. A cluttered home often reflects a cluttered heart. Not always, but often. When every shelf is full, it is hard to see what matters. When every moment is rushed, it is hard to hear God. Consumer culture tells you that success looks like abundance. But the Bible shows that true richness is different. True richness is peace. True richness is love. True richness is purpose. None of these can be bought. When we chase possessions, we trade depth for display. We show more, but feel less. We post pictures, but struggle with emptiness. We smile in public, but worry in private. This is the silent burden many carry. They have more than ever before, but feel less satisfied than ever before. Why? Because the heart longs for meaning, not merchandise. The heart longs for connection, not comparison. The heart longs for God. When accumulation becomes normal, generosity becomes rare. You think, I will give later, after I have enough. But enough never comes. There is always another goal, another wish list, another upgrade. Faith calls you to trust. Consumerism calls you to control. Faith says, God will provide. Consumerism says, secure yourself. Faith says, store treasures in heaven. Consumerism says, fill your garage. One leads to freedom. The other leads to bondage. The hidden cost of consumerism is this. It shapes your heart without you noticing. It slowly trains you to believe that life is about having, not becoming. But faith is about becoming. Becoming patient. Becoming generous. Becoming loving. Becoming humble. These qualities grow when space is created. Space in your home. Space in your schedule. Space in your heart. When you own less, you often worry less. When you want less, you compare less. When you compare less, you feel more content. Contentment is powerful. It is quiet strength. It says, I have enough, because God is enough. Consumerism fears contentment, because content people do not chase endlessly. They live freely. They choose wisely. They give boldly. This chapter is not saying things are evil. It is asking a deeper question. Who controls your heart? Your possessions or your faith? Modern culture will keep pushing. It will keep advertising. It will keep promising. But you have a choice. You can step back. You can question the noise. You can examine your attachments. The hidden cost of consumerism is spiritual drift. Small shifts. Tiny compromises. Until one day, you realize your life is full of things, but missing peace. Faith invites you to another way. A simpler way. A lighter way. A freer way. It begins with awareness. It begins with asking, do I really need this? It begins with asking, does this bring me closer to God? Or does it distract me? When you see the hidden cost clearly, change becomes possible. You can break the cycle. You can choose contentment over craving. You can choose generosity over greed. You can choose faith over fear. And when you do, something shifts inside. Desire slows down. Peace grows stronger. And your heart becomes lighter. That is where uncluttered faith begins. Chapter 2. What Jesus taught about possessions. In the last chapter, we saw the hidden cost of consumerism. Now we go deeper. Now we look at what Jesus taught. Because this struggle with possessions is not new. It did not start with online shopping. It did not start with malls. It did not start with ads. It started in the human heart. Long ago, Jesus spoke about money and possessions. He spoke clearly. He spoke simply. He said, "Do not store up treasures on earth." Why? Because earthly treasures do not last. They can break. They can rust. They can be stolen. But treasures in heaven are different. They do not fade. They do not decay. They are eternal. This teaching is powerful. It changes how we see ownership. Jesus was not saying that having things is wrong. He was warning about trusting things. There is a big difference. When you trust money, you feel safe only when you have more. When you trust God, you feel safe even with less. Jesus also said, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be." This means your heart follows what you value. If you value money most, your heart stays there. If you value God most, your heart rises toward Him. This is not about rules. It is about direction. Your heart cannot chase two masters. Jesus said, "You cannot serve both God and money. One will always win." If money leads your choices, faith becomes weak. If faith leads your choices, money becomes a tool. This brings us to an important idea. Ownership and stewardship are not the same. Ownership says, "This is mine. I worked for it. I control it." Stewardship says, "This is given to me. I manage it, but it belongs to God." This shift changes everything. When you think like an owner, you protect at all cost. When you think like a steward, you use wisely. An owner asks, "How can I keep more?" A steward asks, "How can I use this for good?" Jesus lived as a steward. He did not chase wealth. He did not build large storage. He focused on people. He focused on love. He focused on teaching truth. His life showed that value is not measured by possessions. In one story, a rich young man asked Jesus what he must do to live fully. Jesus told him to sell his possessions and give to the poor. The man became sad. Why? Because his possessions owned his heart. This story is not about being rich or poor. It is about attachment. Anything that controls your heart becomes your master. Jesus warned about storing treasures on earth because earth is temporary. Everything here has an end. Cars age. Clothes wear out. Houses need repair. Even money can lose value. But love does not lose value. Kindness does not lose value. Faith does not lose value. These are eternal treasures. Eternal values last forever. Temporary rewards feel good for a moment. Eternal rewards bring peace for a lifetime. Temporary rewards bring applause. Eternal rewards bring purpose. Temporary rewards depend on others. Eternal rewards depend on God. This is why Jesus spoke so strongly about wealth. Not because wealth is evil, but because wealth is powerful. It can quietly take first place in your heart. The struggle with wealth is timeless. People in ancient times faced it. People today face it. In the past, wealth meant land and animals. Today, it means bank accounts and brands. The form changed. The struggle did not. Humans have always wanted security. We believe money gives security. But Jesus taught that true security comes from trusting God. He said, "Look at the birds. They do not store in barns, yet God feeds them. Look at the flowers. They do not worry about clothes, yet they are dressed beautifully." If God cares for birds and flowers, how much more will He care for you? This teaching invites trust. Trust is hard when you depend on possessions, because possessions feel visible. Faith feels invisible, but invisible does not mean weak. Faith grows when you loosen your grip on things. Jesus also spoke about a man who built bigger barns to store more crops. The man felt proud. He said, "Now I can relax." But that very night, his life ended. The lesson was clear. You can prepare for many years, but life is not in your control. So what truly matters, not how much you store, but how you live. Do you love others? Do you serve others? Do you grow in faith? These questions matter more than inventory lists. When Jesus talked about treasure in heaven, He was pointing to eternal impact. Every act of kindness is a treasure. Every moment of generosity is a treasure. Every step of obedience is a treasure. These treasures cannot be stolen. They are stored in eternity. This view changes daily life. Instead of asking, "How can I earn more?" You ask, "How can I serve more?" Instead of asking, "How can I impress others?" You ask, "How can I honor God?" This does not mean you stop working hard. It means your goal shifts. Work becomes a way to bless others. Money becomes a tool. Not a tool. This is freedom. When you live as a steward, you hold things loosely. You stay humble. If you stay humble, you stay calm. If you lose, because your treasure is not locked in temporary places. Build bigger. The world says, Jesus build says, bigger. Live Jesus deeper. Says, the world live says, deeper. Store more. The world says, Jesus store says, more. Give more. Jesus says, the world give says, more. Protect the yourself. World says, Jesus protect yourself. Says, trust God. Jesus says, these messages are different. These messages are different. Fear. The other builds faith. The other struggle with wealth, the struggle with wealth exist. Will always exist. As long as humans live on earth, money will test hearts. Money will test hearts. But the solution remains the same. Choose eternal over temporary. Choose stewardship over ownership. Choose trust over control. When you follow this path, something changes inside you. You stop measuring your life. You stop measuring your life. You start measuring your life. You start measuring your life becoming by who you are. You becoming more loving? Are you becoming more loving? More generous? These are signs of true wealth. These are signs of true wealth. Did not promise a life full of things. He promised a life full of purpose. He promised peace. He promised eternal hope. When you understand what Jesus taught about possessions, you begin to see clearly. Things are not the problem. Attachment is the problem. Wealth is not the enemy. Worshipping wealth is the danger. And this message still speaks today. Because even now, many hearts are by temporary rewards. Many people chase success, yet feel empty. Why does this happen? Because temporary rewards cannot fill eternal longing. This leads us to the next truth. Possessions promise fulfillment. But do they truly satisfy? In the next chapter, we will explore this deeper. We will uncover the illusion of fulfillment. And we will see why more never feels like enough. The journey continues. Chapter 3. The Illusion of Fulfillment. In the last chapter, we learned what Jesus taught about possessions. Now, we face a deeper question. If things do not last, then why do we chase them? Because they promise fulfillment. Fulfillment means feeling complete, satisfied, and at peace. The world says, success will fulfill you. Money will fulfill you. Status will fulfill you. But is that true? Many people reach their goals, yet still feel empty. They earn more money, but want more. They buy bigger homes, but feel restless. They gain fame, but feel lonely. This is the illusion of fulfillment. It looks real. It feels close, but it slips away. Material success does not satisfy the soul. It may excite the mind. It may please the eyes, but it does not calm the heart. Why? Because the soul was made for something greater. You can fill a room with furniture, but you cannot fill a heart with furniture. You can fill a closet with clothes, but you cannot fill loneliness with clothes. You can fill a bank account with money, but you cannot fill fear with money. This truth is simple, yet powerful. Many people believe, once I reach this level, then I will rest. But once they reach it, a new level appears. The goal keeps moving. The finish line shifts. So they run again, and again, and again. This cycle creates emotional emptiness behind abundance. Abundance means having more than enough. Yet abundance does not always bring joy. Sometimes it brings pressure. Pressure to maintain. Pressure to impress. Pressure to protect. When you own more, you worry more. Will this break? Will I lose this? What if someone takes it? Instead of peace, you feel tension. Instead of gratitude, you feel fear. Emotional emptiness grows slowly. At first, you ignore it. You distract yourself with new purchases. You scroll for new ideas. You compare with others. Comparison makes the emptiness worse. You see someone richer, someone more successful, someone more admired. Then your success feels small. The joy fades again. This is how the illusion works. It shows you highlights. It hides the truth. Social media shows perfect homes, perfect vacations, perfect lifestyles. But it does not show the anxiety behind the scenes. It does not show the debt. It does not show the stress. It does not show the quiet tears. The heart keeps searching. Why am I not satisfied? Because success without purpose feels hollow. Because wealth without faith feels unstable. Because abundance without gratitude feels empty. Clutter plays a hidden role in this. Clutter is not only physical, it is also mental and spiritual. When your home is full, your mind feels crowded. Every object holds a small weight. It needs cleaning. It needs organizing. It needs attention. Many small weights create heavy pressure. You may not notice it at first, but over time, it drains energy. Clutter clouds spiritual clarity. Clarity means seeing clearly. When your life is crowded with noise, it is hard to hear God. When your schedule is packed, it is hard to reflect. When your thoughts race about money, it is hard to pray. Clutter distracts focus. It pulls attention to the surface. Faith invites you deeper, but depth requires space. Chapter 3. The Illusion of Fulfillment. In the last chapter, we learned what Jesus taught about possessions. Now we face a deeper question. If things do not last, then why do we chase them? Because they promise fulfillment. Fulfillment means feeling complete, satisfied, and at peace. The world says, success will fulfill you. Money will fulfill you. Status will fulfill you. But is that true? Many people reach their goals, yet still feel empty. They earn more money, but want more. They buy bigger homes, but feel restless. They gain fame, but feel lonely. This is the illusion of fulfillment. It looks real. It feels close. But it slips away. Material success does not satisfy the soul. It may excite the mind. It may please the eyes. But it does not calm the heart. Why? Because the soul was made for something greater. You can fill a room with furniture, but you cannot fill a heart with furniture. You can fill a closet with clothes, but you cannot fill loneliness with clothes. You can fill a bank account with money, but you cannot fill fear with money. This truth is simple, yet powerful. Many people believe, once I reach this level, then I will rest. But once they reach it, a new level appears. The goal keeps moving. The finish line shifts. So they run again, and again, and again. This cycle creates emotional emptiness behind abundance. Abundance means having more than enough. Yet abundance does not always bring joy. Sometimes it brings pressure. Pressure to maintain. Pressure to impress. Pressure to protect. When you own more, you worry more. Will this break? Will I lose this? What if someone takes it? Instead of peace, you feel tension. Instead of gratitude, you feel fear. Emotional emptiness grows slowly. At first, you ignore it. You distract yourself with new purchases. You scroll for new ideas. You compare with others. Comparison makes the emptiness worse. You see someone richer, someone more successful, someone more admired. Then your success feels small. The joy fades again. This is how the illusion works. It shows you highlights. It hides the truth. Social media shows perfect homes, perfect vacations, perfect lifestyles. But it does not show the anxiety behind the scenes. It does not show the debt. It does not show the stress. It does not show the quiet tears. The heart keeps searching. Why am I not satisfied? Because success without purpose feels hollow. Because wealth without faith feels unstable. Because abundance without gratitude feels empty. Clutter plays a hidden role in this. Clutter is not only physical. It is also mental and spiritual. When your home is full, your mind feels crowded. Every object holds a small weight. It needs cleaning. It needs organizing. It needs attention. Many small weights create heavy pressure. You may not notice it at first, but over time, it drains energy. Clutter clouds spiritual clarity. Clarity means seeing clearly. When your life is crowded with noise, it is hard to hear God. When your schedule is packed, it is hard to reflect. When your thoughts race about money, it is hard to pray. Clutter distracts focus. It pulls attention to the surface. Faith invites you deeper, but depth requires space. Space in your home, space in your mind, space in your heart. When everything feels urgent, nothing feels sacred. You move fast. You buy fast. You decide fast. But you rarely pause. Pause is where growth happens. Pause is where gratitude grows. Pause is where you remember what truly matters. The illusion of fulfillment tells you, keep moving. Do not stop. Do not reflect. Do not question. Because if you question, you may see the truth. And the truth is simple. More does not equal meaning. Meaning comes from connection. Connection with God. Connection with people. Connection with purpose. When hope is placed in possessions, it becomes misplaced hope. Hope should lift you, but misplaced hope disappoints you. You hope the new job will fix everything. You hope the bigger house will solve stress. You hope the new car will change how you feel. But after some time, you feel the same inside. The outside changed. The inside stayed the same. That is because inner emptiness cannot be filled with outer upgrades. Recognizing misplaced hope is the first step toward freedom. Ask yourself, what am I really hoping for? Security? Love? Respect? Peace? These are good desires. But possessions cannot give them fully. Security comes from trust in God. Love comes from relationships. Respect comes from character. Peace comes from faith. When hope shifts from things to God, clarity returns. You start to see possessions as tools, not solutions. You enjoy them, but you do not depend on them. You use them, but you do not worship them. This shift changes everything. Instead of chasing constant upgrades, you practice gratitude. Gratitude fights the illusion. Gratitude says, I already have enough. Contentment grows when gratitude grows. Contentment is not laziness. It is peaceful confidence. It says, I am secure in God. Many people fear contentment. They think it will stop progress. But contentment does not stop growth. It stops greed. It stops comparison. It stops restless craving. When clutter clears, clarity increases. When clarity increases, peace grows. When peace grows, faith deepens. This is the opposite of the illusion. The illusion promises quick joy. Faith offers lasting joy. The illusion promises status. Faith offers purpose. The illusion promises control. Faith offers trust. Material success is not evil. But when it becomes your hope, it becomes heavy. When your hope rests in God, success becomes light. You can enjoy blessings without being controlled by them. You can celebrate achievements without making them your identity. This is freedom. Freedom from the endless chase. Freedom from the empty cycle. Freedom from the pressure to impress. The illusion of fulfillment fades when truth shines. Truth says, you were made for more than possessions. You were made for love. You were made for purpose. You were made for God. When you see this clearly, your desires begin to change. You want less clutter. You want more peace. You want less noise. You want more depth. This desire leads to a new practice. A practice rooted in faith. A practice that turns simplicity into worship. In the next chapter, we will explore this deeply. We will learn how minimalism becomes a faith practice. The journey continues. Chapter 4. Minimalism as a faith practice. In the last chapter, we saw the illusion of fulfillment. We learned that more does not satisfy the soul. Now we move forward. If possessions cannot fulfill us, then what should we do? This is where minimalism becomes important. But not just any minimalism. Biblical minimalism. Minimalism is not only about clean rooms. It is not only about empty shelves. It is about clear priorities. It is about a focused heart. Biblical minimalism means choosing God over excess. It means removing what distracts you from faith. It means living with enough, not always wanting more. The Bible does not command poverty, but it encourages simplicity. Simplicity protects your heart. When life is simple, focus becomes sharp. When focus is sharp, faith becomes strong. Biblical minimalism asks one question: does this help me grow closer to God? If the answer is no, then you must reflect. Owning less can become a spiritual discipline. A discipline is something you practice on purpose. You do not wait for feelings. You choose action. When you choose to own less, you train your heart. You teach it contentment. You teach it trust. You teach it gratitude. Spiritual discipline builds strength. Prayer is a discipline. Fasting is a discipline. Giving is a discipline. Owning less can also be a discipline. When you say no to extra purchases, you grow self-control. When you give away what you do not need, you grow generosity. When you resist comparison, you grow confidence in God. These small choices shape your character. Character matters more than comfort. Many people chase comfort. They think comfort equals blessing. But sometimes, comfort weakens discipline. When everything is easy, you forget dependence on God. Simplicity keeps you aware. It reminds you that life is not about accumulation. It is about transformation. Simplicity is obedience. Obedience means trusting God's way over your own. God calls His people to live differently from the world. The world says, gather more. Faith says, gather wisely. The world says, impress others. Faith says, honor God. Choosing simplicity is an act of trust. You trust that God will provide. You trust that you do not need excess to feel secure. You trust that your value does not depend on possessions. This trust creates peace. Peace grows when desire slows down. When you stop chasing every trend, your mind becomes calm. When you stop comparing your life, your heart becomes steady. Minimalism clears space for obedience. When your schedule is full of buying and managing, you feel busy. But when your life is simple, you notice needs around you. You notice people who need help. You notice moments to serve. Simplicity creates margin. Margin is space. Space to rest. Space to reflect. Space to respond. Without margin, faith feels rushed. With margin, faith feels alive. Freedom grows through intentional living. Intentional means choosing on purpose. You do not drift. You decide. You decide what enters your home. You decide what enters your mind. You decide what shapes your habits. Intentional living protects your heart from clutter. Clutter is not always physical. It can be mental. Too many goals. Too many desires. Too many distractions. When everything matters, nothing truly matters. Minimalism helps you choose what truly matters. It teaches you to say no. Saying no is powerful. No to excess. No to impulse. No to comparison. Every no creates space for a better yes. Yes to prayer. Yes to generosity. Yes to relationships. Owning less makes room for more meaningful things. Less distraction. More devotion. Less pressure. More peace. Less clutter. More clarity. This is not about living with nothing. It is about living with purpose. Some people fear minimalism. They think it means loss. But biblical minimalism brings gain. You gain freedom from debt. You gain freedom from comparison. You gain freedom from endless wanting. Freedom feels light. When you are free from constant desire, you can focus on eternal things. Eternal things last beyond this life. Faith lasts. Love lasts. Obedience lasts. Material things do not last forever. They serve a purpose, then they fade. But spiritual growth continues. Minimalism reminds you of this truth. It teaches you to hold possessions loosely. Loose hands are ready to give. Tight fists struggle to share. When you practice simplicity, generosity becomes natural. You see what you truly need. You see what you can release. This practice builds trust in God's provision. You stop asking, "What if I lose?" You start saying, "God will provide." This shift changes your daily life. Shopping becomes thoughtful. Buying becomes slower. Gratitude becomes stronger. When gratitude grows, joy grows. Joy does not depend on abundance. Joy depends on awareness of God's goodness. Simplicity helps you notice blessings. Small blessings. Morning light. Warm meals. Kind words. When life is not crowded by excess, these blessings shine brighter. Minimalism as a faith practice is not extreme. It is balanced. It asks you to examine motives. Why do I want this? Is it need or is it pride? Is it purpose or is it pressure? These questions protect your heart. Faith grows stronger when motives become pure. Pure motives lead to peace. Peace leads to clarity. Clarity leads to confidence in God. This journey is gradual. You do not change overnight. You start with small steps. One drawer at a time. One habit at a time. One decision at a time. Each step builds discipline. Each decision shapes your heart. Soon you notice change. You feel lighter. You worry less about things. You care more about people. This is spiritual growth. Minimalism becomes worship because you are choosing God over excess. You are choosing purpose over pressure. You are choosing faith over fear. Freedom through intentional living is real. It is not loud. It is quiet, but it is powerful. You wake up without the weight of constant wanting. You walk through your day with focus. You rest without anxiety over possessions. This freedom prepares you for deeper work. Because the real clutter is not always in your closet. Sometimes it is in your heart. And before you clear your home, you must clear your heart. In the next chapter, we will explore this truth. We will learn why we must declutter the heart before the home. The journey continues. Chapter 5. Decluttering the heart before the home. In the last chapter, we learned that minimalism can be a faith practice. Now we go deeper. Before you clean your home, you must examine your heart. Because true clutter does not start on shelves. It starts inside. You can remove many items. You can donate many boxes. But if the heart stays attached, clutter returns. Decluttering the heart comes first. Physical clutter is easy to see. You see piles of clothes. You see crowded drawers. You see full storage spaces. But internal attachment is harder to see. Attachment is emotional. It is the feeling that says, I cannot let this go. Sometimes the item is small, but the attachment is strong. Why? Because the heart gives meaning to things. A simple object can hold pride. A simple object can hold fear. A simple object can hold identity. This is where the real work begins. Internal attachment and physical clutter are connected. If your heart clings to comfort, your home fills with comfort items. If your heart seeks status, your home fills with status symbols. If your heart fears scarcity, your home fills with backups and extras. The outside reflects the inside. This does not mean every item is wrong. It means you must ask honest questions. Why do I need this? Is this useful? Or does it feed my ego? Is this wise? Or does it calm my fear? Idolatry is a strong word, but it simply means putting something in the place of God. When comfort becomes your highest goal, comfort becomes an idol. When status becomes your identity, status becomes an idol. When approval from others drives your choices, approval becomes an idol. Idols are not always statues. Sometimes they are lifestyles. Sometimes they are habits. Sometimes they are hidden desires. The idolatry of comfort is common today. We avoid anything that feels hard. We chase ease. We design life around pleasure. But faith often grows through challenge. If comfort becomes your God, you will avoid obedience when it feels costly. The idolatry of status is also common. You want to look successful. You want others to admire you. So you buy things that signal success. Better car, better brand, better house. But when identity depends on status, peace disappears. Because status can change. Trends change. Opinions change. Positions change. If your worth depends on these things, your heart will always feel unstable. Decluttering the heart means removing these hidden idols. It means asking, what truly defines me? Is it my job? Is it my house? Is it my income? Or is it my faith? Possession-centered thinking is subtle. It says, I am what I own. If I own more, I matter more. If I own less, I matter less. This thinking shapes behavior. You work longer hours. You compare more often. You spend beyond limits, all to protect an image. But faith-centered thinking is different. It says, I am loved by God. My value comes from Him. Nothing I buy can increase that value. Nothing I lose can remove that value. This shift is powerful. When identity rests in God, possessions lose control. You can enjoy them, but you do not depend on them. Replacing possession-centered thinking takes time. It requires awareness. Notice your reactions. Do you feel anxious when someone has more? Do you feel proud when someone has less? Do you feel nervous when something breaks? These reactions reveal attachment. Attachment is not always about the object. It is about what the object represents. Security, success, control. Decluttering the heart means placing these needs back in God's hands. Security comes from trust in Him. Success comes from obedience to Him. Control belongs to Him. When desires are not aligned with purpose, life feels scattered. You chase many things, but feel centered in none. Realigning desires with purpose brings focus. Purpose answers the question, why am I here? Not just what can I own. When purpose becomes clear, desires begin to change. You desire growth more than display. You desire character more than comfort. You desire impact more than image. This shift does not happen overnight. It begins with honesty. Admit when something has too much control. Admit when comparison steals joy. Admit when comfort replaces courage. Honesty opens the door to change. Prayer strengthens that change. Ask God to reveal hidden attachments. Ask Him to reshape your desires. Ask Him to help you release what holds you back. Letting go is not loss when it leads to freedom. Sometimes you keep items because they remind you of success. But maybe success is no longer your highest goal. Sometimes you keep items because they represent a past identity. But maybe God is forming a new identity in you. Decluttering the heart allows growth. When old attachments leave, new clarity enters. Clarity helps you see what truly matters. Family, faith, service, integrity. These values last longer than objects. Physical decluttering is still important, but it becomes more meaningful after heart decluttering. When the heart is free, letting go feels easier. You do not feel panic. You feel peace. You do not feel loss. You feel lightness. Because your hope is not stored in boxes. It is rooted in faith. Decluttering the heart also reduces fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of falling behind. Fear of not having enough. These fears drive consumption. But faith replaces fear with trust. Trust says, I have enough for today. Trust says, God will guide tomorrow. When trust grows, attachment weakens. And when attachment weakens, generosity becomes possible. You cannot give freely if your heart clings tightly. You cannot live lightly if your heart feels heavy. Decluttering the heart prepares you for a generous life. It prepares you to hold possessions loosely. It prepares you to give with joy. This is not about guilt. It is about growth. It is about freedom from hidden chains. The chains are not always visible, but they limit movement. When they break, you breathe easier. You smile more. You worry less. Decluttering the heart is the foundation. Without it, physical minimalism becomes shallow. With it, simplicity becomes powerful, because it flows from inside out. In the next chapter, we will explore what happens when the heart becomes free. We will learn how generosity becomes a lifestyle. The journey continues. Chapter 6: Generosity as a Lifestyle. In the last chapter, we learned how to declutter the heart. Now, we move forward. When the heart becomes lighter, something beautiful begins to grow. Generosity. Generosity is not just an action. It is a lifestyle. It is not something you do once a year. It is something you practice every day. Many people think generosity means giving money. Money is part of it, but generosity is much bigger. You can give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. True generosity flows from the heart. When your heart is free from attachment, your hands open easily. Closed hands protect. Open hands trust. Giving beyond money changes how you see life. You can give your time. Time is precious. You cannot earn it back. When you give time to someone, you give part of your life. Listening to a friend, helping a neighbor, serving in your community. These acts matter. You can give attention. Attention is rare today. Many people are distracted. Phones ring. Screens glow. Notifications buzz. But when you look someone in the eyes and truly listen, you give a powerful gift. Attention says you matter. You can give presence. Presence means being fully there, not rushing, not checking your phone, not thinking about the next task, just being present. This kind of generosity builds strong relationships. Relationships grow through presence, not presence. Many people buy gifts but do not give attention. Generosity as a lifestyle changes this pattern. It says people come first. Money becomes a tool. Time becomes an offering. Attention becomes a blessing. Generosity breaks material chains. Material chains are invisible. They are the strong attachments to possessions. When you give freely, those chains weaken. Each act of giving reminds your heart, I do not depend on this. Each act of sharing reminds your soul, God is my provider. The more you give, the less you fear loss. Fear says, what if I do not have enough? Generosity says, I trust God with enough. This trust brings peace. Peace grows when fear shrinks. Many people hold tightly because they are afraid. Afraid of scarcity. Afraid of future problems. Afraid of uncertainty. But generosity challenges fear. It says, even in uncertainty, I will share. Even in need, I will trust. This lifestyle changes your mindset. Instead of asking, what can I get? You ask, what can I give? Instead of chasing accumulation, you practice contribution. Contribution builds purpose. Purpose brings joy. Joy is deeper than pleasure. Pleasure is quick. Joy is lasting. Generosity creates joy. When you see someone smile because of your kindness, you feel fulfillment. Not the false fulfillment of buying, but the real fulfillment of blessing. The spiritual reward of open hands is powerful. When your hands are open, your heart stays open. When your heart stays open, faith grows. Closed hands struggle to receive. Open hands can both give and receive. Jesus taught that it is more blessed to give than to receive. This teaching seems opposite to the world. The world says, receive more. Faith says, give more. When you give, you reflect God's nature. God gives life. God gives grace. God gives love. When you practice generosity, you become more like Him. This transformation matters more than money. It shapes your character. Character is eternal. Money is temporary. Generosity also reduces clutter. When you share extra items, space opens. When you donate unused clothes, peace increases. When you release what you do not need, freedom grows. You realize you can live with less. And living with less often means living with more peace. Generosity trains your heart to value people over possessions. It shifts focus outward. Outward focus reduces selfishness. Selfishness isolates. Generosity connects. Connection builds community. Community strengthens faith. Faith strengthens courage. Courage leads to action. This cycle is beautiful. Generosity also builds gratitude. When you give, you notice how much you already have. You see abundance where you once saw lack. Gratitude grows naturally. Gratitude reduces comparison. Comparison steals joy. Generosity restores joy. Some people think they must wait to become generous. They say, "When I earn more, I will give more." But generosity is not about amount. It is about attitude. A small gift with love is powerful. A small act with sincerity matters deeply. You can start today. Share a meal. Share a kind word. Share your skills. Generosity becomes a habit through practice. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. Letting go feels risky. But each time you give, trust grows. Trust builds confidence in God's care. Confidence reduces anxiety. Anxiety often grows from fear of losing. Generosity answers that fear. It says, "My security is not in things. My security is in God." This mindset changes spending habits. You think before buying. You ask, "Do I truly need this? Could this money bless someone else?" These questions shape wise decisions. Wise decisions protect peace. Generosity also teaches humility. You realize everything you have is a gift. Your job is a gift. Your skills are a gift. Your opportunities are gifts. When you see life as a gift, giving becomes natural. You become a steward, not an owner. Stewards manage resources wisely. They use resources to serve others. This lifestyle brings deep satisfaction, not shallow excitement. Deep satisfaction grows slowly. It comes from knowing you are living with purpose. Purpose gives meaning to daily actions. Small acts of kindness become sacred moments. Simple generosity becomes spiritual worship. When you give your time, you honor others. When you give your attention, you show respect. When you give your resources, you express trust. All of these actions shape a generous life. Generosity as a lifestyle does not mean giving everything away. It means holding everything loosely. It means being ready to share when needed. It means caring more about impact than image. Image fades. Impact remains. When your life reflects generosity, others notice. They see peace in you. They see contentment in you. They see joy in you. This becomes a testimony of faith in action. Generosity breaks the chains of materialism. It breaks the habit of constant wanting. It breaks the fear of scarcity. It replaces them with trust and love. Trust leads to courage. Courage leads to service. Service leads to impact. Impact creates lasting legacy. Legacy is not measured by wealth stored. It is measured by love shared. When your hands are open, your life becomes light. You move freely. You live freely. You give freely. And in giving, you discover true abundance. In the next chapter, we will explore another challenge. We will learn how to break the cycle of busyness. Because even generous hearts can become distracted by constant activity. The journey continues. Chapter 7. Breaking the Cycle of Busyness. Our world moves fast. Very fast. People wake up tired. They rush all day. They sleep late. Then they repeat the same cycle again. This is the cycle of busyness. Busyness feels normal. But normal does not mean healthy. Many people think being busy means being important. They wear busyness like a badge. They say, "I have no time." But deep inside, they feel empty. They feel rushed. They feel stressed. They feel behind. Busyness steals peace. And many times, possessions create this busyness. The more you own, the more you manage. The more you buy, the more you maintain. Every item needs care. A bigger house needs cleaning. A bigger car needs repair. More clothes need washing. More gadgets need updates. Possessions promise convenience, but often they create obligation. Obligation takes time. Time is limited. When time is full, stress increases. You do not only own things. Sometimes things own you. They demand attention. They demand money. They demand energy. And slowly, your schedule becomes crowded. Crowded schedules lead to crowded minds. Crowded minds struggle to pray. Crowded minds struggle to listen. Crowded minds struggle to rest. The burden of maintenance is heavy. Maintenance is not exciting. It is repetitive. Fixing, cleaning, organizing, upgrading. The cycle never ends. When one task finishes, another begins. This is how possessions create more obligations. You buy something new. For a moment, you feel happy. Then you must protect it. You must insure it. You must store it. You must care for it. The cost is not only money. The cost is time. The cost is attention. The cost is mental space. Comparison adds more pressure. You see what others have. You feel behind. You feel less successful. So you work more. You earn more. You buy more. And your schedule becomes even fuller. Comparison is a silent thief. It steals contentment. It steals peace. It pushes you to chase a lifestyle that may not even fit you. Social media makes this worse. Perfect homes. Perfect trips. Perfect lives. But most images are edited. Real life is not perfect. Still, the pressure feels real. You think, "I need to keep up." Keeping up creates exhaustion. Exhaustion damages joy. Joy fades when life feels like a race. God never designed life to be a race of comparison. He designed life with rhythm, work, rest, worship, community. But busyness breaks rhythm. It replaces rhythm with chaos. Chaos makes it hard to hear God's voice. When you are always rushing, you miss quiet moments. Quiet moments are where clarity grows. Clarity needs margin. Margin means space. Space in your schedule. Space in your mind. Space in your heart. Without margin, everything feels urgent. But not everything is important. Busyness confuses urgency with importance. Emails feel urgent. Notifications feel urgent. Deadlines feel urgent. But relationships are important. Faith is important. Health is important. If you do not protect what is important, busyness will consume it. Simplifying schedules is a spiritual act. It is not laziness. It is wisdom. It is choosing depth over speed. Start by asking simple questions. What truly matters? What brings eternal value? What drains my energy without purpose? Be honest. Some activities only fill time. They do not build faith. They do not build relationships. They only keep you busy. Busyness can become an escape from silence, an escape from reflection, an escape from facing deeper issues. But healing requires stillness. Growth requires space. Jesus often stepped away from crowds. He rested. He prayed. He chose solitude. If he needed quiet time, we need it even more. Simplifying your schedule may feel uncomfortable at first. You may fear missing out. You may fear disappointing people. But you cannot say yes to everything. Every yes is also a no. When you say yes to unnecessary tasks, you say no to meaningful time. Time with family. Time with God. Time for rest. Creating margin means planning wisely. Do not fill every hour. Leave breathing room. Leave time for conversation. Leave time for prayer. Leave time for unexpected needs. Margin reduces stress. Stress weakens faith. Peace strengthens faith. Peace grows in unhurried hearts. An unhurried heart listens better. It responds with patience. It notices small blessings. When you slow down, you see beauty. Sunlight in the morning. Laughter at dinner. Kind words from a friend. Busyness blinds you to these gifts. Simplifying may require tough decisions. You may need to reduce commitments. You may need to decline invitations. You may need to set boundaries. Boundaries protect your energy. Energy is limited. When energy is drained, irritability grows. Irritability damages relationships. Healthy rhythms protect relationships. Possessions often demand extra work hours. Extra work hours reduce family time. Reduced family time creates distance. Distance creates regret. Regret is heavy. Minimal living reduces this pressure. When you need less, you can work with balance. When you spend less, you worry less. When you worry less, you sleep better. Good sleep restores strength. Strength supports faith. Breaking the cycle of busyness requires courage. Courage to live differently. Courage to reject cultural pressure. Courage to choose simplicity. Some people will not understand. They may think you lack ambition. But ambition without peace is costly. Success without joy is empty. You must define success clearly. Is success more money? Or is success a meaningful life? Meaningful lives are not always loud. They are often simple. Simple routines. Deep conversations. Steady faith. Creating margin allows you to serve better. When you are not rushed, you can help others. When your schedule is flexible, you can respond to real needs. Busyness makes you unavailable. Availability is powerful. God often works through available hearts. Not just talented hearts. Not just busy hearts. Available hearts. When you remove extra clutter from your calendar, clarity increases. You see priorities clearly. You focus on long-term value. You invest in what lasts. Simplifying schedules also protects mental health. Constant rushing increases anxiety. Anxiety clouds judgment. Clear minds make wise choices. Wise choices lead to stable lives. Stable lives create strong foundations. Strong foundations support lasting faith. Think of your schedule like a garden. If you plant too much, nothing grows well. Plants need space. Your life needs space. Space to breathe. Space to grow. Space to rest. Breaking the cycle of busyness does not happen in one day. It happens step by step. Start small. Remove one unnecessary task. Create one quiet moment each day. Turn off notifications for a while. Protect one evening for family. Small changes create big impact over time. Consistency matters more than intensity. You do not need a dramatic life change. You need steady, intentional choices. Remember, time is a gift. You cannot store it. You cannot multiply it. You can only use it wisely. When you align your time with your values, peace grows. Peace confirms you are on the right path. Busyness screams. Peace whispers. Learn to listen to the whisper. Your soul was not designed for endless pressure. It was designed for connection. Connection with God. Connection with people. Connection with purpose. When you break the cycle of busyness, you rediscover joy. Joy in simple meals. Joy in quiet mornings. Joy in meaningful work. You realize life is not about doing more. It is about living well. Living well means living aligned. Aligned with faith. Aligned with purpose. Aligned with love. As we move forward, remember this truth. Less rushing creates more meaning. Less clutter creates more clarity. Less noise creates more peace. In the next chapter, we will explore contentment. Because even with simpler schedules, the heart must learn to be satisfied. And contentment is the key to lasting freedom. The journey continues. Chapter 8. Prioritizing people over possessions. Life moves quickly. Days pass fast. Years pass even faster. At the end of life, one truth becomes clear. People matter more than possessions. No one, at the end, wishes for a bigger house. No one wishes for more clothes. No one wishes for more gadgets. They wish for more time with people they love. They wish for deeper relationships. They wish for stronger connection. Possessions cannot hug you. Possessions cannot pray for you. Possessions cannot sit beside you in pain. People can. That is why this chapter matters. We must learn to prioritize people over possessions. The world teaches something different. The world teaches reputation over relationship. It says, build your image. Protect your status. Grow your influence. Look successful. But reputation is fragile. It changes quickly. One mistake and people judge you. One rumor and opinions shift. Reputation depends on others. Relationships depend on love. Love is stronger than image. Image can impress. Love can transform. Many people chase reputation. They want others to admire them. They work long hours. They buy expensive things. They post perfect pictures. But while they build image, relationships weaken. Family feels ignored. Friends feel distant. Community feels optional. This is the cost of choosing reputation over relationship. Relationships need time. They need attention. They need presence. Presence means showing up fully, not half listening, not multitasking, not scrolling your phone. Real presence builds trust. Trust builds strong bonds. Strong bonds create lasting joy. Investing deeply in family is powerful. Family is not perfect. Every family has flaws, but family shapes your life. When you invest in your family, you invest in your future. Simple actions matter. Eating together, praying together, talking without distraction, listening without rushing. Children remember attention more than gifts. Spouses remember kindness more than money. Parents remember respect more than success. Small daily moments create strong foundations. Community matters too. We were not created to live alone. Isolation weakens the heart. Community strengthens it. Helping neighbors builds connection. Serving others builds unity. Sharing meals builds friendship. These simple acts create deep impact. Possessions cannot replace community. A bigger house does not guarantee laughter. A new car does not guarantee loyalty. Expensive furniture does not guarantee warmth. Warmth comes from people. Choosing connection over consumption requires courage. Consumption is easy. It feels good for a moment. You buy something new. You feel excited. But the excitement fades quickly. Then you want something else. Connection takes effort. You must slow down. You must listen. You must care. But connection creates lasting fulfillment. When you choose connection, you say no to unnecessary spending. You say no to constant upgrades. You say no to comparison. You say yes to dinner conversations. You say yes to shared memories. You say yes to meaningful time. Memories last longer than materials. Memories grow sweeter with time. No one tells stories about the day they bought socks. They tell stories about trips with friends. They remember late-night talks. They remember acts of kindness. Building lasting impact through presence changes your legacy. Legacy is not what you own. Legacy is how you loved. Did you listen well? Did you forgive quickly? Did you show compassion? These questions define real success. Many parents work hard to provide things, but children often want presence more than presents. A short game together means more than a new toy. A calm conversation means more than a new device. Your time is your greatest gift. Time cannot be replaced. When you give time, you give value. Relationships also require sacrifice. You may need to reduce work hours. You may need to limit overtime. You may need to decline some opportunities. But protecting relationships is worth it. Money can return. Time cannot. Reputation may impress strangers. Love builds lifelong bonds. In marriage, presence builds security. Security builds trust. Trust builds intimacy. Intimacy builds strength. This strength carries families through storms. Storms are part of life. Illness comes. Loss comes. Failure comes. In those moments, possessions are useless. But people stand beside you. Hands hold you. Voices comfort you. Prayers support you. This is why people matter most. Consumption often distracts from connection. Shopping fills schedules. Maintenance fills weekends. Debt creates stress. Stress creates tension. Tension damages relationships. When you simplify possessions, you free time. When you free time, you create space. Space allows deeper connection. Deep connection brings peace. Peace strengthens faith. Faith strengthens love. Love strengthens community. Everything connects. Prioritizing people also changes conversations. Instead of talking about things, you talk about dreams. Instead of discussing purchases, you discuss purpose. Instead of comparing lifestyles, you share struggles. Honest conversations build authenticity. Authenticity builds real friendship. Real friendship lasts through change. People change jobs. People move cities. People face challenges. But strong relationships adapt. Possessions stay behind. People move forward with you. Investing in people may feel slow. It does not give instant results. But over time it produces deep roots. Deep roots survive storms. Shallow connections break easily. Many people feel lonely today. They have many followers, but few close friends. They have many items, but little intimacy. This is a warning. Do not trade connection for consumption. Do not trade family for fame. Do not trade presence for popularity. Choose what lasts. Presence requires attention. Attention requires focus. Focus requires boundaries. You may need to turn off devices. You may need to limit screen time. You may need to create tech-free moments. Simple habits protect relationships. Put your phone away at dinner. Make eye contact during conversation. Ask meaningful questions. Listen without interrupting. These actions seem small, but they build strong bridges. When people feel heard, they feel valued. When they feel valued, they feel loved. Love strengthens community. Community strengthens hope. Hope gives life meaning. Building lasting impact through presence also reflects faith. God is present. He listens. He cares. When you are present for others, you reflect His heart. This is powerful. You become a living example of love. People remember how you made them feel. They remember your kindness. They remember your patience. They remember your support. They rarely remember your possessions. Years from now, your children may forget what gifts you bought, but they will remember if you attended their events. They will remember if you encouraged them. They will remember if you prayed for them. This is true wealth. True wealth is relational. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be damaged by market changes. It grows stronger with time. Choosing people over possessions also reduces pressure. You stop trying to impress others. You start trying to bless others. Blessing brings joy. Impressing brings stress. Stress drains energy. Joy restores energy. Energy used for love creates impact. Impact multiplies through generations. Children who feel loved grow into adults who love well. Communities built on care become strong communities. Strong communities change the world. All this begins with simple priorities. Choose people first. Choose presence daily. Choose connection intentionally. Let possessions serve relationships. Never let relationships serve possessions. This shift changes everything. It changes how you spend money. It changes how you spend time. It changes how you define success. Success becomes faithfulness. Success becomes love in action. Success becomes consistent presence. As we move forward, remember this truth. People are eternal. Possessions are temporary. Invest where eternity exists. In the next chapter, we will explore contentment and gratitude more deeply. Because when you value people over possessions, the heart must learn to stay satisfied. And contentment protects the relationships you build. The journey continues. Chapter 9. Faith, Focus, and Purpose. Life becomes noisy very quickly. Noise is not only sound. Noise can be clutter. Noise can be pressure. Noise can be distraction. When life is full of noise, focus becomes weak. When focus becomes weak, purpose feels blurry. And when purpose feels blurry, faith feels distant. This chapter is about clarity. It is about sharpening your focus. It is about living on purpose. Owning less sharpens clarity. This may sound simple, but it is powerful. When your home has less clutter, your mind feels lighter. When your schedule has less pressure, your heart feels calmer. When your finances have less debt, your spirit feels freer. Less creates space. Space creates clarity. Clarity strengthens focus. Focus strengthens faith. Think about a crowded room. If the room is full of boxes, it is hard to move. If your mind is full of worries, it is hard to think. Clutter distracts. Distraction divides attention. Divided attention weakens purpose. Owning less removes many small distractions. Fewer clothes mean fewer choices. Fewer gadgets mean fewer updates. Fewer commitments mean fewer interruptions. Each small reduction increases mental space. Mental space allows reflection. Reflection builds wisdom. Wisdom guides purpose. Faith grows best in quiet hearts. God often speaks in stillness. But stillness is rare in busy lives. Notifications interrupt prayer. Deadlines interrupt reflection. Entertainment interrupts silence. When you remove distractions, you begin to hear clearly. You hear your thoughts. You hear your needs. You hear God's direction. Removing distractions does not mean escaping life. It means organizing life wisely. It means choosing what deserves your attention. Attention is powerful. What you focus on grows. If you focus on money, desire grows. If you focus on status, pride grows. If you focus on comparison, insecurity grows. But if you focus on faith, peace grows. If you focus on service, love grows. If you focus on gratitude, joy grows. Owning less helps redirect attention. When you are not managing excess, you can manage purpose. Purpose requires intentional living. Intentional living means living by design, not by default. Default living follows culture. Intentional living follows calling. Culture says, buy more. Calling says, seek meaning. Culture says, stay busy. Calling says, stay faithful. Culture says, impress others. Calling says, honor God. Aligning daily habits with spiritual calling changes everything. Calling is not only about career. It is about character. It is about how you live daily. Small habits shape destiny. Morning routines shape mindset. Evening reflections shape gratitude. Daily prayer shapes perspective. If your habits are chaotic, your focus will be scattered. If your habits are simple, your focus will be strong. Start with small, intentional steps. Wake up with quiet time. Read something uplifting. Pray before checking your phone. These small actions create spiritual grounding. Grounded hearts resist distraction. Ungrounded hearts drift easily. Drifting leads to confusion. Confusion weakens purpose. Purpose gives direction. Direction reduces anxiety. When you know why you are living, you worry less about what others think. Purpose protects you from comparison. Comparison wastes energy. Energy should be invested in calling. Owning less also reduces decision fatigue. Too many choices drain mental strength. When your life is simple, decisions become clearer. Clarity supports discipline. Discipline strengthens faith. Faith gives courage. Courage helps you live boldly. Bold living does not mean loud living. It means faithful living. Faithful living is consistent. It shows up daily. It serves quietly. It loves patiently. Removing distractions to hear God clearly requires courage. Silence can feel uncomfortable. In silence, you face your thoughts. You face your fears. You face your weaknesses. But in silence, healing begins. Healing clears emotional clutter. Emotional clutter blocks spiritual growth. When you simplify possessions, you often simplify emotions too. Less stress creates more peace. More peace creates better focus. Better focus strengthens prayer. Stronger prayer deepens faith. Living intentionally also means setting boundaries. Boundaries protect time. Boundaries protect energy. Boundaries protect calling. If you say yes to everything, you dilute purpose. If you guard your priorities, you strengthen impact. Impact grows from focused effort. Scattered effort produces shallow results. Think of sunlight. When sunlight spreads wide, it warms gently. When sunlight is focused through a lens, it creates fire. Focus multiplies power. Faith with focus creates transformation. Purpose becomes clearer when distractions fade. Ask yourself simple questions. What truly matters? What aligns with my faith? What steals my attention without adding value? Be honest with your answers. Honesty creates growth. Growth requires change. Change often feels uncomfortable, but comfort rarely produces clarity. Living intentionally may require letting go. Let go of extra subscriptions. Let go of unnecessary commitments. Let go of toxic comparison. Each release creates freedom. Freedom sharpens focus. Focus strengthens mission. Mission gives life meaning. Meaning produces joy. Joy strengthens endurance. Endurance keeps you steady during trials. Trials are part of life. Without purpose, trials feel overwhelming. With purpose, trials feel shaping. They shape character. They deepen faith. They refine focus. Owning less teaches contentment. Contentment protects purpose. If you are always chasing more, you will never rest in calling. Resting in calling builds stability. Stability strengthens trust. Trust strengthens obedience. Obedience aligns you with God's will. When your life aligns with His will, peace increases. Peace confirms direction. Living intentionally also affects relationships. You choose quality over quantity. You choose depth over display. You invest in conversations that matter. You reduce noise that distracts. This lifestyle builds authenticity. Authenticity builds credibility. Credibility builds influence. Influence rooted in faith creates lasting impact. Faith, focus, and purpose are connected. Faith gives vision. Focus protects vision. Purpose directs vision. Without faith, vision fades. Without focus, vision scatters. Without purpose, vision confuses. When all three align, life becomes powerful. Not flashy, not loud, but meaningful. Owning less is not about deprivation. It is about alignment. Alignment between values and actions. Alignment between belief and behavior. Alignment between calling and calendar. Your calendar reveals your priorities. Your spending reveals your values. Your habits reveal your focus. Examine them honestly. Adjust them intentionally. Small daily changes create long-term transformation. You do not need to change everything overnight. You need steady commitment. Commitment builds discipline. Discipline builds clarity. Clarity builds confidence. Confidence strengthens faith. Faith fuels purpose. Living intentionally means living awake. Awake to time. Awake to opportunities. Awake to spiritual guidance. It means refusing autopilot living. Autopilot follows culture. Intentional living follows calling. As we close this chapter, remember this truth. Owning less sharpens focus. Focused hearts hear God clearly. Clear direction strengthens purpose. Purpose-filled lives create eternal impact. In the next chapter, we will move into action. We will explore practical steps toward minimalist living. Because clarity must lead to change, and faith must shape daily practice. The journey continues. Chapter 10, Practical Steps Toward Minimalist Living. Clarity is powerful, but clarity must lead to action. Knowing the truth is not enough. You must live it. This chapter is about practical steps. Simple steps. Clear steps. Steps anyone can follow. Minimalist living is not theory. It is daily practice. It begins with decluttering. Decluttering means removing what you do not need. It sounds simple, but it requires honesty. Walk through your home slowly. Look at each room carefully. Ask one simple question. Do I truly use this? If the answer is no, consider letting it go. Start small. Begin with one drawer, then one shelf, then one closet. Small wins build momentum. Momentum builds motivation. Do not try to clean everything in one day. That creates frustration. Slow progress is still progress. Create 3 simple boxes. Keep, donate, remove. Be honest with yourself. If you have not used something for a year, question its value. Memories do not live in objects. They live in your heart. Keeping everything does not protect memories. It often protects fear. Fear of waste. Fear of regret. Fear of future need. But most items stay unused. They take space. They collect dust. They create stress. Decluttering creates breathing room. Breathing room reduces anxiety. When surfaces are clear, minds feel clearer. When spaces are open, hearts feel lighter. Another strategy is the one in, one out rule. If you buy one item, remove one item. This keeps balance. It prevents slow accumulation. Accumulation happens quietly. One small purchase at a time. Soon, space disappears. Be intentional with new purchases. Pause before buying. Wait 24 hours. Ask yourself, do I truly need this? Or am I reacting to emotion? Many purchases are emotional. Stress shopping, boredom shopping, comparison shopping. Emotion fades. Clutter remains. Setting boundaries around consumption is essential. Boundaries protect simplicity. Without boundaries, culture controls you. Advertisements are everywhere. They promise happiness. They promise status. They promise comfort. But promises are not always truth. Decide your limits in advance. Set a monthly budget. Track your spending honestly. Avoid impulse buying. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Reduce exposure to constant advertising. What you see influences desire. Less exposure reduces temptation. Teach yourself contentment. Appreciate what you already own. Gratitude weakens craving. Craving fuels consumption. Consumption fuels clutter. Clutter fuels stress. Break the cycle early. Another important area is digital minimalism. Digital clutter is real clutter. Phones hold thousands of photos. Apps compete for attention. Notifications interrupt peace. Digital noise drains focus. Start by cleaning your phone. Delete unused apps. Remove games that waste time. Turn off non-essential notifications. Silence creates calm. Limit social media time. Set a daily timer. Use your device with purpose. Do not let it use you. Email inboxes also need decluttering. Unsubscribe from unnecessary lists. Create simple folders. Delete old messages. A clean inbox reduces stress. Digital minimalism protects mental health. Constant scrolling increases comparison. Comparison damages contentment. Contentment protects joy. Choose screen-free hours each day. Protect mornings. Protect evenings. Use that time for reading, for prayer, for conversation, for reflection. Digital boundaries strengthen focus. Focus strengthens faith. Minimalism also requires sustainable habits. Habits shape lifestyle. Lifestyle shapes destiny. Create simple daily routines. Make your bed each morning. Clear your desk before sleeping. Wash dishes immediately. Small habits prevent future clutter. Clutter grows when tasks are delayed. Delayed tasks create overwhelm. Overwhelm reduces motivation. Stay consistent. Consistency builds discipline. Discipline builds freedom. Freedom feels peaceful. Another habit is mindful shopping. Shop with a list. Stick to the list. Avoid wandering through stores without purpose. Stores are designed to tempt you. Be aware. Awareness protects discipline. Quality over quantity is important. Buy fewer items. Choose durable ones. Cheap items break quickly. Broken items create waste. Waste creates frustration. Invest in what lasts. Repair when possible. Reuse when possible. Donate responsibly. Simplicity does not mean carelessness. It means stewardship. Stewardship honors resources. Resources are gifts. Use them wisely. Another step is simplifying your wardrobe. Choose neutral colors. Choose versatile pieces. Reduce duplicates. Fewer choices save time. Save time reduces stress. Stress reduction improves mood. Improved mood strengthens relationships. Everything connects. Simplify your kitchen. Keep tools you truly use. Remove duplicates. Organize shelves clearly. Clear spaces support clear thinking. Simplify your calendar too. Do not only declutter objects. Declutter commitments. Review weekly activities. Remove what does not align with purpose. Leave margin in your schedule. Margin allows rest. Rest restores strength. Strength supports consistency. Minimalist living also includes financial discipline. Avoid unnecessary debt. Pay down existing loans steadily. Debt creates pressure. Pressure reduces peace. Peace is priceless. Save regularly. Give generously. Spend wisely. This balance creates stability. Stability supports long-term simplicity. Teach your family these habits. Minimalism works best together. Discuss goals openly. Set shared priorities. Celebrate progress. Encourage one another. Change feels easier with support. Remember, minimalism is not about perfection. It is about direction. You may make mistakes. You may buy something unnecessary. Learn from it. Do not feel shame. Growth takes time. Be patient with yourself. Track your progress monthly. Notice what improved. Notice what still needs attention. Reflection builds awareness. Awareness strengthens intention. Intention guides action. Action builds lifestyle. Minimalism also creates space for generosity. When you own less, you share more. When you spend less, you give more. Giving strengthens purpose. Purpose deepens joy. Sustainable habits require repetition. Repetition creates automatic behavior. Automatic, good behavior reduces effort. Reduced effort increases consistency. Consistency builds lasting change. Remember why you started. You started for clarity. You started for faith. You started for peace. Keep your reason visible. Write it down. Read often. Motivation fades. Purpose remains. As you practice these steps, life will feel lighter. Rooms will feel calmer. Schedules will feel manageable. Hearts will feel steady. Simplicity is not empty living. It is intentional living. It is choosing what matters most. It is protecting focus. It is strengthening faith. It is aligning daily habits with calling. These practical steps may seem small, but small steps create big transformation. Transformation happens slowly, but slowly is still powerful. In the next chapter, we will address something important: fear, because change often brings resistance. And to continue this journey, we must overcome fear and resistance. The journey continues. Chapter 11. Overcoming Fear and Resistance. Change sounds good in theory, but change feels hard in real life. When you decide to live simply, fear often appears. Fear whispers, "What if you do not have enough?" Fear asks, "What will people think?" Fear says, "You might regret this." Fear creates resistance. Resistance slows growth. Growth requires courage. Courage grows when faith becomes stronger than fear. This chapter is about facing fear honestly. It is about replacing anxiety with trust. The first fear is scarcity. Fear of not having enough. Enough money. Enough security. Enough comfort. This fear is deep. It often comes from past pain. Maybe you experienced lack before. Maybe you saw others struggle. Maybe you were taught to hold tightly. Scarcity fear says, keep more. Store more. Protect everything. But storing everything does not remove fear. Sometimes it increases fear. The more you store, the more you worry about losing it. The more you protect, the more anxious you become. Fear of scarcity creates tension. Tension steals peace. Peace is replaced with constant calculation. You check accounts often. You worry about markets. You stress about future problems. Planning is wise, but constant fear is not wisdom. Faith does not ignore preparation. Faith removes panic. There is a difference. You can save responsibly while trusting God deeply. Trust says, God is my provider. Fear says, I am on my own. Fear isolates. Trust connects. When you choose simplicity, fear may rise. You may think, what if I need this later? Ask yourself honestly, how often has that fear been true? Most unused items remain unused. Most just-in-case purchases stay untouched. Fear exaggerates risk. Faith sees reality clearly. Faith reminds you of past provision. Think about your life. Has God carried you before? Has He opened doors? Has He provided at the right time? Remembering past faithfulness builds present trust. Trust weakens scarcity fear. Another strong fear is judgment. Fear of what people will think. If you live simply, some may question you. They may say you lack ambition. They may think you cannot afford more. They may compare lifestyles. Judgment feels uncomfortable. Humans desire acceptance. But living for approval creates bondage. When you live for approval, you lose freedom. You make choices to impress others. You buy to match expectations. You decorate to gain praise. You spend to protect image. This creates pressure. Pressure builds stress. Stress damages joy. Joy fades when comparison grows. Remember this truth. People's opinions change quickly. One day they praise. Another day they criticize. If your peace depends on opinions, peace will disappear often. Root your identity deeper. Your identity is not in possessions. It is not in status. It is not in brand names. It is in being a child of God. When identity is secure, judgment loses power. You can smile at criticism. You can stay calm in misunderstanding. You can live according to conviction, not culture. Trusting God over possessions requires daily surrender. Surrender means open hands. Open hands release control. Control feels safe. But control is often illusion. You cannot control markets. You cannot control economy. You cannot control unexpected events. You can control trust. You can control obedience. You can control gratitude. When you hold possessions tightly, anxiety grows. When you hold God tightly, peace grows. Peace is stronger than wealth. Wealth can disappear quickly. Peace can remain in storms. Storms test faith. They reveal what you trust most. If possessions are your security, storms will shake you deeply. If God is your security, storms will strengthen you slowly. Replacing anxiety with faith is not instant. It is practice. Daily practice. Start with prayer. Speak your fears honestly. God already knows them. Tell Him your worries. Tell Him your doubts. Honest prayer builds intimacy. Intimacy builds trust. Trust reduces anxiety. Another step is gratitude. Anxious hearts focus on what is missing. Grateful hearts focus on what is present. Make a daily gratitude list. Write 3 blessings each day. Small blessings matter. Food on the table. Air to breathe. People who care. Gratitude shifts perspective. Perspective shapes emotion. Emotion influences decisions. Fear also loses strength when you take action. Start small. Donate 1 item. Reduce 1 expense. Decline 1 unnecessary purchase. Each small action proves you can live with less. Proof builds confidence. Confidence strengthens courage. Courage weakens resistance. Resistance often hides comfort. Comfort feels safe. But comfort can limit growth. Growth requires stepping beyond comfort. Living simply may feel uncomfortable at first. Friends may not understand. Family may question your choices. But over time, peace will speak louder than doubt. When others see your calm spirit, they may become curious. Curiosity can open conversations. Conversations can inspire change. Fear of scarcity also connects to future worry. You may think, what about retirement? What about emergencies? Planning wisely is good. Obsessing constantly is harmful. There is a balance. Save responsibly. Invest wisely. But do not let money become your God. Money is a tool. God is your source. Tools are helpful. Sources are essential. Anxiety often comes from imagined disasters. Your mind creates worst-case scenarios. But most worst cases never happen. And if challenges come, grace comes too. Grace often arrives with the problem, not before it. Trust that when you need strength, it will appear. Faith grows strongest when tested. Tests reveal depth. Depth produces stability. Stability protects peace. When fear whispers again, answer it with truth. Truth is powerful. Truth says, I am provided for. Truth says, I am guided. Truth says, I am not alone. Repeat truth daily. Your mind believes what it hears often. Feed it faith, not fear. Overcoming fear does not mean fear disappears forever. It means fear no longer controls decisions. You may still feel nervous, but you act with courage anyway. Courage is not absence of fear. It is movement despite fear. Each time you choose faith, you grow stronger. Each time you release anxiety, you gain peace. Each time you trust God over possessions, you deepen freedom. Freedom feels light. Freedom feels steady. Freedom allows generosity. Freedom supports simplicity. Remember why you started this journey. You wanted clarity. You wanted focus. You wanted purpose. Fear tries to pull you back. Faith pushes you forward. Choose forward. Choose trust. Choose obedience. Over time, resistance will weaken. Confidence will grow. Your heart will rest easier. And you will realize something beautiful. You were never sustained by possessions. You were always sustained by God. In the next chapter, we will expand the vision. We will look at simplicity beyond the individual. We will explore the role of community. We will discover how the church can embrace collective simplicity. The journey continues. Chapter 12, The Church and Collective Simplicity. Simplicity is not only personal. It is also communal. Faith is not lived alone. It is lived together. The church is more than a building. It is people. People connected by faith. People united by mission. When individuals choose simplicity, change begins. When the church chooses simplicity, impact multiplies. This chapter is about collective simplicity. It is about a shared vision. A vision where less focus on image creates more focus on mission. A vision where resources serve purpose. A vision where the church shines through humility. A vision for minimalism within the church begins with a heart. Church leaders must ask honest questions. Are we chasing growth or chasing faithfulness? Are we building reputation or building disciples? Are we investing in appearance or investing in people? Buildings are useful. Technology is helpful. Programs are important. But none of these are the mission. The mission is people. The mission is transformation. The mission is sharing hope. When a church becomes focused on image, pressure increases. Pressure to impress. Pressure to compete. Pressure to appear successful. This pressure can shift priorities. Budgets grow toward appearance. Energy shifts toward performance. Simplicity calls the church back to clarity. Clarity asks, what truly matters? Worship matters. Teaching truth matters. Serving the needy matters. Discipleship matters. Community matters. Minimalism within the church does not mean neglect. It means intentional focus. It means removing what distracts from mission. It means reducing unnecessary complexity. It means choosing depth over display. A simple church can still be powerful. A small space can hold great faith. A humble gathering can change lives. History proves this. The early church had no grand buildings. They met in homes. They shared meals. They prayed together. They supported one another. Their power was not in property. It was in unity. Unity grows when focus is clear. Clear focus strengthens mission. Community impact through simplicity is visible. When a church spends wisely, resources expand. Money saved from excess can support outreach. Money saved from luxury can support missions. Money saved from image can support families in need. This shift creates testimony. People notice generosity. People notice humility. People notice authenticity. When a church lives simply, it reflects trust. Trust that God builds His church. Trust that programs do not save souls. Trust that faithfulness matters more than fame. Collective simplicity also changes culture inside the church. Members feel less pressure to compete. They feel less need to impress. They feel freedom to be authentic. Authenticity strengthens relationships. Strong relationships build healthy community. Healthy community attracts people naturally, not through marketing, but through love. Redirecting resources toward mission requires courage. It requires transparency. It requires leadership conviction. Leaders must communicate clearly. They must explain why simplicity matters. They must model it personally. People follow example more than words. If leaders live humbly, members feel inspired. If leaders chase status, members imitate it. Collective simplicity can reshape church budgets. Less spending on decoration. More spending on discipleship. Less spending on comfort. More spending on compassion. This does not mean neglecting beauty. It means defining beauty differently. True beauty is transformed lives. True beauty is restored families. True beauty is hope in broken places. Community impact grows when churches partner together. Instead of competing, they collaborate. Instead of duplicating effort, they share resources. This unity strengthens witness. A united church sends a strong message. It shows love in action. It shows humility in leadership. It shows trust in provision. Living as an example in society matters deeply. Society watches the church. It observes spending habits. It observes priorities. It observes responses to crisis. If the church mirrors consumer culture, confusion grows. If the church models simplicity, clarity grows. Clarity draws attention. Attention opens conversation. Conversation opens opportunity. Opportunity allows testimony. When communities face hardship, simple churches respond quickly. They have margin. They have available resources. They have flexible hearts. Simplicity creates readiness. Readiness allows action. Action creates impact. Collective simplicity also reduces burnout. Church volunteers often feel overwhelmed. Too many programs. Too many events. Too many expectations. Simplifying activities creates focus. Fewer events with deeper meaning. Fewer programs with stronger discipleship. Quality over quantity. Depth over noise. This protects leaders. It protects families. It protects unity. When churches simplify, they create room for spiritual growth. More time for prayer. More time for teaching. More time for personal mentoring. Spiritual growth cannot be rushed. It requires attention. It requires relationship. It requires consistency. Collective simplicity also strengthens generosity. Members see wise stewardship. They trust leadership. Trust increases giving. Giving supports mission. Mission expands influence. Influence rooted in faith creates lasting change. A simple church can be bold. Bold in truth. Bold in compassion. Bold in service. Boldness does not require luxury. It requires conviction. Conviction grows from clarity. Clarity grows from simplicity. Living as an example in society also challenges culture. Culture often celebrates excess. It praises wealth. It promotes status. When the church lives differently, contrast appears. Contrast sparks curiosity. People may ask, why are you not chasing more? Why are you content? Why are you generous? These questions open doors. Doors allow sharing faith. Sharing faith fulfills mission. Collective simplicity does not weaken the church. It strengthens it. It aligns it with purpose. It frees it from unnecessary burdens. It keeps it focused on eternity. Churches must guard against pride. Even simplicity can become pride. We must stay humble. Simplicity is not about appearing holy. It is about being faithful. It is about stewardship. It is about obedience. When obedience guides decisions, peace follows. Peace strengthens unity. Unity strengthens witness. Witness spreads hope. Imagine a church known for generosity, known for humility, known for wise stewardship, known for strong community. This vision is possible. It begins with small decisions. It begins with honest evaluation. It begins with prayerful leadership. Every church can start somewhere. Review spending honestly. Review activities honestly. Review priorities honestly. Ask, does this serve mission? If not, adjust. Adjustment requires courage. Courage grows through faith. Faith grows through prayer. Prayer aligns hearts. Aligned hearts create unified action. Unified action multiplies impact. Collective simplicity is not about shrinking vision. It is about sharpening vision. It removes distractions. It removes ego. It removes unnecessary pressure. What remains is mission. Clear mission. Strong faith. Authentic community. As the church embraces simplicity, it becomes light. Light in dark places. Light in confused culture. Light in anxious society. This light is not flashy. It is steady. It is warm. It is inviting. In the next chapter, we will move from church community to personal influence. We will explore how you can make an impact in your world. Because simplicity is not only a concept, it is a lifestyle that transforms communities. The journey continues. Chapter 13. Making an impact in your world. Simplicity is not the final goal. It is the beginning. When you remove clutter, you create space. When you create space, you gain freedom. Freedom is not for comfort only. Freedom is for impact. Now the question becomes clear. What will you do with your freedom? When you own less, you manage less. When you manage less, you worry less. When you worry less, you think clearly. Clear thinking opens new possibilities. You begin to see needs around you. Needs you once ignored. Needs you once felt too busy to notice. Using free time and energy for service changes everything. Time is powerful. Energy is valuable. Attention is rare. When you free these resources, you hold treasure. Treasure meant to be shared. Look around your world, your neighborhood, your workplace, your school, your church. Every place holds people with needs. Some need encouragement. Some need guidance. Some need practical help. Some need hope. When your life is not crowded with excess, you become available. Availability is powerful. Many people care. Few people show up. Showing up creates trust. Trust opens hearts. Open hearts receive love. Love transforms lives. Service does not require a title. It does not require fame. It requires willingness. You can serve through small acts. Visit someone lonely. Cook a meal for a neighbor. Offer tutoring to a child. Help a family move. Simple actions carry deep impact. When you live purpose-driven, decisions become clearer. Purpose answers the question why. Why do you wake up? Why do you work? Why do you spend? Without purpose, life feels random. With purpose, life feels directed. Purpose-driven living aligns daily habits with eternal values. You choose work that honors integrity. You choose conversations that build others. You choose activities that reflect faith. This alignment creates consistency. Consistency builds credibility. Credibility strengthens influence. Influence rooted in love creates change. Making an impact in your world does not mean changing the entire planet. It means changing your corner of it. Start where you are. Start with who you know. Impact begins local. Local impact can ripple outward. Becoming a light in your community requires courage. Light stands out in darkness. Darkness may resist it, but light continues shining. Light does not argue with darkness. It simply shines. Your life can shine through kindness, through patience, through generosity, through honesty, through compassion. When people see steady character, they notice. When they see calm during crisis, they wonder. When they see generosity in scarcity, they question. Questions open doors for faith conversations. Faith expressed through action speaks louder than words. Words matter, but actions confirm truth. If you speak about love, but act selfishly, confusion grows. If you speak about faith, but live anxiously, credibility weakens. But when your actions match your beliefs, impact multiplies. Simplicity supports this alignment. When you are not chasing possessions, you can chase purpose. When you are not comparing lifestyles, you can build relationships. When you are not overwhelmed by debt, you can give freely. Freedom fuels generosity. Generosity builds bridges. Bridges connect hearts. Connected hearts create community. Community spreads hope. Hope changes environments. Your workplace can change through your presence. Choose integrity over shortcuts. Choose encouragement over gossip. Choose diligence over laziness. These small decisions influence culture. Your home can change through your leadership. Model gratitude daily. Pray openly. Apologize quickly. Forgive sincerely. Children learn from what they see. Spouses grow through shared faith. Families become centers of light. Your neighborhood can change through simple actions. Wave at neighbors. Host small gatherings. Offer help during difficulty. Consistency builds familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. Trust opens opportunity for deeper conversations. Purpose-driven living also requires boundaries. You cannot serve everywhere. You cannot solve every problem. Choose focus. Focus increases effectiveness. Effectiveness produces lasting fruit. Ask yourself honestly, what burden has God placed on my heart? Is it youth? Is it elderly? Is it poverty? Is it mentorship? Clarity about calling prevents distraction. Distraction reduces impact. Impact grows where focus remains steady. Serving others will cost you something. Time, energy, comfort. But the reward is deeper than comfort. The reward is meaning. Meaning satisfies the soul. Possessions satisfy temporarily. Service satisfies deeply. When you help someone succeed, joy fills you. When you see transformation, gratitude grows. When you witness restored hope, faith strengthens. This cycle builds momentum. Momentum encourages continued service. Living as a light also means living differently. Not proudly, not arrogantly, but distinctly. Distinct character attracts attention. Attention allows influence. Influence should always serve others. Never manipulate. Never control. Serve humbly. Humility increases respect. Respect opens listening ears. Listening ears receive truth. Faith expressed through action includes justice. Stand for fairness. Speak kindly but firmly. Defend those without voice. Give to those in need. Support causes aligned with truth. These actions demonstrate faith publicly. Public faith requires private strength. Private strength grows through prayer. Prayer renews vision. Vision strengthens endurance. Endurance sustains impact. Impact takes time. Do not expect instant results. Seeds grow slowly. Water faithfully. Serve consistently. Trust God with outcomes. Remember, you are responsible for obedience. God is responsible for results. This truth reduces pressure. Pressure often causes burnout. Burnout reduces effectiveness. Balance service with rest. Rest restores energy. Rest protects joy. Joy sustains long-term commitment. As you make impact, guard your heart. Do not seek applause. Do not seek recognition. Seek faithfulness. Faithfulness produces quiet confidence. Quiet confidence keeps you grounded. Grounded people influence steadily. Your impact may seem small, but small lights matter in dark places. One kind word can prevent despair. One generous act can restore dignity. One faithful life can inspire many. Never underestimate simple obedience. Your world may be small, but it is significant. Live with awareness. Live with intention. Live with courage. When simplicity frees your life, fill that freedom with service. When faith guides your heart, express it through action. When purpose directs your steps, walk boldly. The world does not need more accumulation. It needs more compassion. It does not need more image. It needs more integrity. It does not need more noise. It needs more light. Be that light. In the final chapter, we will bring everything together. We will learn how to live uncluttered for life. Not for a season, not for a trend, but for a lifetime. The journey continues. Chapter 14. Living Uncluttered for Life. This is not the end. It is a beginning. Living uncluttered is not a short project. It is a lifelong commitment. You did not remove excess just to return to it. You did not simplify just to complicate again. You chose freedom. Now you must protect it. Sustaining simplicity long-term requires awareness. Life constantly pulls you back. Advertisements promise happiness. Culture celebrates accumulation. Comparison whispers quietly. Slowly, without noticing, clutter can return. Not all clutter looks obvious. Sometimes it comes disguised as success. Sometimes it comes dressed as opportunity. Sometimes it appears as reward. That is why you must stay alert. Simplicity is not automatic. It is intentional. Every season brings new challenges. New income may increase spending. New relationships may increase pressure. New technology may increase distraction. If you are not careful, excess grows quietly. The first step to sustaining simplicity is gratitude. Gratitude protects contentment. Contentment weakens comparison. Comparison often fuels excess. When you are thankful, you desire less. When you desire less, you protect peace. Peace is precious. Guard it carefully. Create regular moments of reflection. Pause weekly or even daily to evaluate your life. Ask simple questions. What entered my life this week? What consumed my attention? What distracted my focus? Honest reflection prevents silent accumulation. Guarding against relapse into excess requires discipline. Discipline is not punishment. It is protection. Protection of your purpose. Protection of your calling. Protection of your joy. Without discipline, drift begins. Drift feels harmless at first. A small purchase here. A small commitment there. A small distraction later. Soon, life feels heavy again. Heaviness signals imbalance. When you feel pressure increasing, pause immediately. Do not ignore warning signs. Return to basics. Review your values. Review your priorities. Release what no longer aligns. Letting go quickly prevents deeper attachment. Remember, ownership is never neutral. Everything you own requires attention. Attention requires time. Time requires energy. Energy is limited. Protect it carefully. Growing spiritually through discipline strengthens long-term simplicity. Spiritual growth does not happen accidentally. It grows through consistent habits. Daily prayer centers the heart. Reading scripture renews perspective. Silence clears mental noise. Fasting trains desires. Giving loosens greed. Serving softens pride. These practices build inner strength. Inner strength resists outer pressure. When your spirit is strong, excess loses attraction. When your soul is satisfied, temptation weakens. Experiencing fullness in Christ changes everything. Fullness is not found in accumulation. It is found in relationship. Relationship with Christ satisfies deeply. Deep satisfaction reduces craving. Craving often leads to clutter. When your heart is filled spiritually, physical excess feels unnecessary. This does not mean you reject all comfort. It means comfort does not control you. Control belongs to Christ. Living uncluttered for life also requires wise boundaries. Set financial limits. Create spending rules. Avoid emotional shopping. Delay major purchases. Waiting reveals true need. Impulse often reveals insecurity. If something is truly necessary, it will remain necessary later. Digital life also requires boundaries. Limit screen time daily. Remove unnecessary applications. Turn off non-essential notifications. Protect quiet moments. Noise weakens clarity. Clarity protects direction. Direction keeps life focused. Relationships need protection too. Avoid competitive friendships. Choose friends who value growth. Community influences habits. Habits shape character. Character shapes destiny. Living uncluttered is not isolation. It is intentional connection. Spend time with people who strengthen faith. Share struggles honestly. Encourage accountability gently. Accountability sustains progress. Another key to long-term simplicity is humility. Never assume you are beyond relapse. Pride opens doors to excess. Humility keeps you teachable. Teachable hearts adjust quickly. Adjustment prevents long-term damage. When mistakes happen, respond quickly. Do not justify excess. Do not blame circumstances. Admit honestly. Correct immediately. Small corrections prevent major setbacks. Sustaining simplicity also involves celebrating progress. Notice growth. Recognize discipline. Thank God for change. Celebration builds motivation. Motivation encourages consistency. Consistency produces stability. Stability protects freedom. As you continue this journey, seasons will change. Marriage may change priorities. Children may increase responsibility. Career shifts may test discipline. Retirement may alter routine. In every season, return to core principles. Own what serves purpose. Release what distracts. Prioritize people. Seek God first. Trust His provision. When life feels overwhelming, simplify immediately. Remove one unnecessary commitment. Clear one physical space. Delete one digital distraction. Small actions restore clarity. Clarity restores peace. Peace restores focus. Focus restores direction. Living uncluttered for life means redefining success. Success is not accumulation. It is faithfulness. Success is not popularity. It is obedience. Success is not wealth. It is spiritual maturity. Maturity reflects Christ. Christ displayed simplicity beautifully. He owned little, yet He influenced many. He traveled lightly, yet He carried eternal purpose. He valued people deeply. He served sacrificially. His life models uncluttered focus. Following Him shapes your lifestyle. Do not measure progress by possessions. Measure it by peace. Measure it by generosity. Measure it by spiritual growth. Measure it by impact on others. If your peace increases, you are growing. If generosity expands, you are maturing. If distractions decrease, you are focusing. If faith strengthens, you are thriving. Experiencing fullness in Christ brings joy beyond circumstances. Circumstances will fluctuate. Economies shift. Health changes. Opportunities come and go. But Christ remains steady. Steadiness produces security. Security eliminates panic. Panic often drives impulsive decisions. Freedom grows where trust remains. Trust God with provision. Trust Him with future plans. Trust Him with unanswered questions. Uncertainty does not require excess. It requires faith. Faith simplifies choices. When unsure, choose what honors God. When confused, choose peace. When pressured, choose patience. Patience prevents regret. Regret often follows rushed decisions. Living uncluttered for life also means teaching others. Share what you have learned. Model simplicity openly. Encourage family gently. Inspire friends quietly. Your example may free someone else. Freedom spreads through influence. Influence spreads through consistency. Consistency spreads through discipline. Discipline grows through love. Love for God motivates simplicity. Love for people motivates generosity. Love for purpose motivates focus. Love sustains long-term commitment. Without love, discipline feels heavy. With love, discipline feels meaningful. Meaning sustains endurance. Endurance sustains transformation. Transformation sustains impact. This journey is lifelong. There will be challenges. There will be temptations. There will be seasons of weakness. But there will also be growth. There will be peace. There will be clarity. There will be joy. Keep returning to Christ. Keep examining your heart. Keep simplifying your life. Keep aligning with purpose. Living uncluttered for life is not about perfection. It is about direction. Direction toward faith. Direction toward purpose. Direction toward eternal values. When your life remains uncluttered, your heart stays open. When your heart stays open, God works freely. When God works freely, your life bears fruit. Fruit blesses others. Blessed people bless others again. And so the cycle continues. Choose simplicity daily. Choose discipline willingly. Choose faith boldly. Choose Christ above all. In Him, you will experience true fullness. In Him, you will discover lasting peace. In Him, you will live uncluttered, not just for a season, but for life.